strongest in the game. About to take off by doing good business and showing great dogs. Ain't no other part that's gon' mob how we mob. So like, share, subscribe, yeah, get up on your job, cause we about to get it on, man. I told you that it's raw, yeah, I put that on my mom. Good Lord, we have a ball, cause it's raw dog, it's raw dog, yeah, it's raw dog, yeah, it's raw doggin', y'all, yeah, it's raw doggin', yeah, it's raw doggin', y'all, yeah, it's raw doggin'. Let's go. You are now tuned in to the Raw Dawggin podcast.
Beautiful motherfuckers, it's Raw Dawggin Raw Uncut. It's your host DJ Cornett
and Dr. Tim Turner.
Hey, and tonight we got a hell of an episode. Last week on the episode we had Jonathan Smith, which we all believe that put the exotic community on the map for Kentucky. Right. We went over that. We did pricing on puppies. We had a good show last week, so then we got to follow up with one of the greats in the bully community this week, and Ramos, and got to sit down and talk to him a little bit. And after that, I think we're going to talk about the upcoming shows that we got. We're going to go over that, and then I also wanted to bring up on the health topic. I wanted to bring up was flat-chested puppy syndrome. So I want to bring that up. There's a lot of people in the bully community that are starting to breed these micros and nanos and are running into these things. And I've had in my inbox, and I know you have as well, that haven't dealt with how to help prevent this or how to help the dog get out of being flat-chested, how to develop. So we're going to talk about that tonight as well. So that's going to be another great health topic I feel like that we can bring to the community. And then we'll follow up on what we up and coming shit, what we got going on. I know we're going to have some stud videos. We always got the promotion. I still believe Right Way Bullies is in here. Then we got your boy Netflix is on here. We got fucking Jax Teller. We're going to have a bunch of commercials to go in and out of everything. And also we'll have Bully PetX, which is the only registry right now that is sponsorship with Raw Dawggin. You guys don't forget to register your dogs with Bully PetX and check them guys out, man. As you'll see in the commercials, man, the numbers don't lie. Bully PetX is top notch registry. So with that, we're gonna let's go into the commercial. Let's go ahead and pull up Right Way Bullies and Bully PetX's commercial videos. Thank you again, guys, for jumping on our sponsorship. back, man. Again, tap in with us on the sponsorship, and shout out to these guys that tapped in with us. Erwin Berryman at fucking Bully PetX.
Randino Lee from Right Ways Woolies.
Oh, yeah. Man, I'm telling you right now, that dog, Cool Breeze, rest in peace, man. He left behind another badass looking dog. It doesn't look like Randall Lee, didn't get left with anything. He's got a dog named Slurricane, man. It looks like that little motherfucker's going to be pretty nice.
Well, Nano.
Yeah, he's definitely nice looking too. So, shout out to everybody's going. Hey, Danny Marie says she needs a hat. Hey, we got all kinds of them. Look, cheetah prints. We're selling them for $25. So we got, if you tell me color schemes, we can also get it. But these are ones that are already made, pre-made. Anyone that you guys see on here right now, hey, inboxes, man, we'll get rid of. Well, hey, $25. Even Tim's got a black and white one on. You know what I'm saying? Hey, so again, we had a hell of a weekend. I know Chicago did great. Then we came back, wind down, 4th of July, and we got to do the Fat Lines, which I was glad we got to do a chill weekend. And then this one we've been looking forward to, man. We've had under our belt for a little bit on the interview portion of it, Mr. Ron Ramos, Papa Pitt himself.
That's right.
A legend, OG that's been in the game. He's been in every registry known to exist that has any kind of credibility. He's been to several countries. People asked for him to come judge. He said he's put his hands on thousands and thousands upon thousands of bullies.
Literally.
And so he doesn't the way he talks. It's like it's a blessing that he's been able to do that too. Like he loves that he's even had the fact to been able to even do it. So it's kind of been pretty cool to see a guy that's been in it that long that gets that excited about still talking about new dogs, new up and comings, shows. And I think the next one that will be close to us is in North Carolina. He's got coming up. I believe he said was in August. I'm not 100% sure, but I do remember he said that. I knew it was in North Carolina. So I think we'll go ahead and jump in. We got a long time on this interview. He's at an hour and 20 minutes, I think, or some shit. But, it's a lot of great knowledge. We talk about how he did breeding over the years, how he's created the champions he has. Right. Dude, he's won a national competition where they take a female and 3 of her offsprings. So they take the mom and 3 offsprings and judge all 4 dogs at the same thing. And he has won that at a superior national level, dude. So It's kind of cool to let people get some knowledge about breeding.
Well, I think you and Brian told me that he even talked about what to go with in the direction of where the dogs are being train wrecks or whatever, and how to correct those.
Extreme to cleanness. He said that was a slogan because he does a lot of that.
People that are watching need to share this and let people know. You know what I'm saying? Y'all's getting ready to get some knowledge that you can't normally get from.
No, this is a man that's been doing it since 1982, and he talks about it, how he came up from the AKC, the UKC. He's been at the national level at every registry that he's been at too. So it's not that he just was registry hopping. No, bro, he's peaked at every fucking one. So you have to respect a man that has that and is willing to sit down and give people knowledge and talk. And he enjoyed it. I feel
he's known worldwide. So like you said, he's been to foreign countries judging shows there. I think he's been to the Philippines.
Oh yeah, he's been a lot of places. So man, again, thank you guys for tapping in. You guys like, share, and subscribe. Please fucking share the shit out of this to everyone. Mr. OG Ron Ramos, again, thank you, sir, for giving us your time. I know you should be watching in shortly. I know he's on that Cali time. So, again, thank you guys for tapping in. Mr. Ron Ramos, Papa Pitt. And good evening. Tonight we have a special interview. We got Mr. Ron Ramos, Papa Pitt himself, judge of all judges, in our opinion, that has judged for many, many registries, many years, very knowledgeable. And again, we like to thank Mr. Ron Ramos, Papa Pitt, for coming on the show. It's our pleasure having you.
So thank you guys. Thank you guys so much. Yeah, you guys, thank you guys so much. I feel blessed to be a part of the Raw Dog. I see you guys are doing some great stuff. I like your forum, the way you're handling things. So with that being said, I feel really blessed to be here. Forget the noise in the background, you guys. I'm a breeder. I'm a dog guy. So you can hear barking.
And that's what we like. We like it. It's the raw. That's the raw part of it. Your dogs are with you 24/7 once you become a breeder.
That's it, man. They're my babies.
Oh yes. So we have a lot of new viewers that watch our show. Can you give people like we'll go over the show, but like a quick rundown of Ron Ramos. Tell breeders, new people that don't know you, that want to know you or follow you.
There's a bomb.
I know it. Set the alarm.
I had to set an alarm when it shows up.
Hey, we had to make sure we were ready for Cali time.
There you go. Something to give you a brief rundown. My name is Ron Ramos, aka Papa Pit. I've been in this breed since roughly 1983. I have shown in just about every major registry.
I was betting on it earlier.
We was betting. We was like, how close do you think it is to 40 years that he's been in it? But we don't mean to cut you short.
Okay, so who won the bet? Who won the bet?
He did.
Who won the? Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I didn't know. I was like, I know, man. 83. That means he was down there when we were like the real pit bulls was, Staffordshire Terriers.
Right. I'm glad you bring it up. But I was gonna say, I'll finish the introduction. I've been blessed. Like I said, I've been doing this since 1983. Actually, probably 1982. I've had the true ADBA style game dogs. I had Crenshaw and Jeep. I moved into the UKC, and I had some beautiful pit bulls, and then went into the AKC with Amstaffs and to the American Bully. So I've been doing this a long time. I started actually showing dogs in 1997, and I've had multiple champions in the UKC. I've been blessed to have dogs that have participated in nationals and all the major registries, and I have placed in all the major registries. I have dogs that
That's an accomplishment.
It's a lot of work, brother. I'm telling you now, I got a female. I try to introduce this into the bully world, and they haven't done it yet. And a few of them tried it, but I don't think they understand it. I have a 2005 national UKC brood bitch champion. And the way that works out is you have to bring in the female, the mama, with 3 offspring, and they judge all 4 of them. And it's only hosted at national events, and I happen to produce one of the national UKC national brood bitch champions. So I'm very proud of that fact, because that's not one dog; they're judging all 4 dogs. And then from there, I moved into the AKC, and I have multiple dogs that have placed in the AKC Amstaff Nationals, and I have a the ABKC Best Overall Classic National Champion as well, female. And I've been doing this a long time, you guys, and it's a true passion. It's something that I really love to do. And what I love more than that is I love mentoring and helping people. So, when I left the other registry, especially like the UKC, and I went to the American Bullies, I had people questioning me because they were saying, you're effing up the breed, you're going with these guys. And I didn't see it that way. I felt there was an opportunity to get in there and mentor and teach, because anybody can stand on the sidelines and throw rocks. And the same thing is happening now with the exotics. I'm starting to do some exotic shows. I'm judging, and the reason I'm doing these shows is because it's the same principle that I happened when I left the AKC and UKC to become, part of the bully community. Is that I felt like, I want to mentor and teach, and anybody can stand on the sidelines and throw rocks and give you, ugly looks and call names at you. But something you really want to see how good you are, step up and help people. Everybody's not going to be receptive to you. So, trust me, as well renowned as I've known all over the world, I still have my haters. But I'm okay with those guys, because those guys keep me sharp. They keep me where I need to be. And, I have no animosity towards them, So to me, it's an opportunity to sharpen my skills and try to win these guys over.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. which is great. I'm glad you said that, like the mentorship and then exotics, because the other co-host that's on the team on there is Tim Turner, and we have exotics, and we're big show ring guys now. We're starting. I mean, we like the ABR shows and where they're doing, and a lot of these newer shows where they do the stack and table, but we are trying to push for the show ring. We want full mobility. We want, underbites, try to fix them as best as possible, because in the exotic breed, we're trying to. The standard is everywhere, as you've seen,
right.
because a lot of people say, well, we had the discussion earlier this afternoon with James Cosby. It's hard in the exotic community because right now people are saying they're chasing their vision. They're building their vision. Some visions are different than others, or some of them need to be tightened up, or mentored, like as in, like asking for people like you that's been
Well,
in the book.
yeah. Well, I respect that you guys are telling this. For the fact of the matter, I first of all, I respect the fact that you're trying to make a more functional exotic. I will say this, and I may hurt some feelings, and I don't want to use foul language, but it's easy to make an effed up dog than a correct dog.
Yes,
to make a correct dog, you're talking to the guy that came in for dogs that were cookie cutter into the world of bullies and so forth, and it's a little more difficult. And there are some guys that are doing it, and my hat's off to them. But in reality, the majority of them aren't doing it because it's not an easy task. So I'm all about supporting everybody, and I see some amazing exotics. And one of the guys I got to tell you that I had the opportunity of seeing was a dog by the name of Crown, which is owned by, I believe it's Golden Line. That's
Danny
Joe
Gonzalez.
Danny Gonzalez and his Papa Joe Gonzalez. I've known Joe for eons. In fact, I knew Danny. He had to be maybe 14 years old when I first met Danny. And oh man, I got a lot of respect for the young man. He's very cordial, very respectful, and I'm telling you, I'm admired because he's seen me at a couple of shows and he made his way over to me, to make sure that he gave me his his respect and everything. So I really appreciate that young man. And he's doing big things, So the thing is, like I said, it's an easy task to make something that's a genetic wreck. And a lot of these guys that are saying it's my vision, I'm sorry to tell you guys, it's a cop out. And I don't mean that in a bad way, because some guys do have true vision and they are trying to do the correct things. But there's a lot of guys that are using it for an excuse to just make dogs and sell them.
We had a discussion. You shouldn't sell some of your steps, like if you're only in step 3 or 2, or because you got to fix each flaw, or you try to prepare your breedings as best as possible. So we were talking that we should discuss and tell people that you shouldn't sell your process in the middle, like $6,000 and $7,000 dogs that are only like F2, F3 at tops. For the crossbreeding. That's just some of the things.
That's a very valid point. And the other thing is, I totally understand that you need to support the program. It's an expensive hobby. I totally get that. But the thing is, you're absolutely right about selling dogs that are for that high dollar, and the dogs are, you're lucky if they're going to make it out a couple of years. So, if they make it 6 years, that's awesome. For some of the breeds and that's a tough situation to be in, and like I said, again, I know the expense of running a program. Again, I've been doing this since 1983. For me to feed my animals, vet care and everything else, I understand the cost. Yes. But in the same token, don't take out the cost on an innocent victim. Trying to make sure that you're doing the right thing. I've been blessed that I have a lot of repeat customers. Multiple repeat customers. I really take care of these people, man. When they come to me, it's not I take your money and disappear. Is I'm here to support you and help you grow that puppy to its best potential. Because one of my mantras, one of my sayings, and a lot of people have heard me saying this, and they've been using it. But the thing is, I hope they use it in just and earn. And one of my mantras is, your success is my success. It's like this program. When you guys invited me to this program, it is important for me that you guys have a successful show, not just to promote myself, because I'm not out there that much. I'm lucky to have the followers I have on Instagram and Facebook, because being a breeder is like being a rock star. I mean, if you don't have a hit every 3 months, you're out of the game. Nobody remembers you. You know, and so it's a tough situation. So, you know, like I said, my mantra is your success is my success. So when I sell a puppy to people, you know, they may think I'm a pain in the ass sometimes because I'll message them. Hey, how's that pup doing? You know, send me a picture. So that, you know, you have any questions? What can I help you with? You know, whether it be how to feed the animal, you know, how to prepare your stud dog so he has good semen, and the care for your bitch so she doesn't get pyometra. My duty to these people that come to me doesn't end when the money exchanges hands. And I've seen that too many times. You know, it doesn't work that way with me.
I love that. I love that you're saying that. And I love that people are going to get to hear that, because that is excellent knowledge. One of my mentors it's not the exact same model, but he has the same quality. Like, he's like, it don't end here, man. Once you get a dog from me, you're family. Like, you're in the.
They're my extended Papa Bit Pulley family. I mean, I've had reunions here. People don't know this, but we've gotten back. You know, I've been blessed with a big backyard. You know, I mean, we get back here sometimes once a year, and we invite people, and we put on a big feed, and you know, and no talk about dogs unless you want to. It's just camaraderie. You know, drink some beers. You know, eat some ribs, whatever it may be, and it's a great time. You know, I have people that come to my house that excuse the fireworks. It's close to 4th of July. But, you know, I have people come here that don't even buy dogs. They want to come see puppies, and I bring them in. And I still feed them, and I still cater to them like if they was a buying customer. You know, because that's how much I love what I do. And you'd be surprised. I may win them over. They may not come today, but they may come tomorrow. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yep. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What bull or what dog really, like, you've been doing it since 1982, 1983. So I know I'm probably not going to know the dog. I might do my research.
First off, what breed of dog got you into dog? Like, have you always dealt with the bully breeds, like from the very beginning?
No, that's a great question, because I will tell you, I owe my love for dogs, and I get a little emotional, but okay. I owe my love to dogs to my pops, man. You know, he's give me a second. He's the one that gave me the love for dogs. You know, he would always bring a different dog home for me when one passed away or something. So I've had from Chihuahuas to Pomeranians, Samoyeds, Rottweilers, Dobermans. I mean, you name it, I've had it, man. You know what I'm saying? But you know, my heart always gravitated back at that time to the pit bull. And like I said, I had game dogs, and there was a dog I remember that one of the first dogs that really blew my mind. And he was not. This is before bullies were even thought about. You know what I'm saying? His name was Titan, and this dog, I swear to God, this male looked like he didn't have a mane on him, or else he'd be a lion, but he looked like a female lion. He looked like a lioness. This guy was a monster, man. You know what I'm saying? And I seen this dog, and it blew my mind. This thing, and there was a friend of mine, and I took him over to my pops. I was already out at that time, and I took him over to my dad to see him. My dad was blown away. He goes, "Oh my God, that's a freaking, what a beast, man!" You know what I'm saying? And this guy he was actually like a fawn, almost like a blue fawn, but not quite a blue fawn. And he was just a monster. The dog had to weigh probably 140 pounds, and that's way back before all this movement was ever going on. You know what I'm saying? That was one of my influences as far as that. And then there was another little dog that my neighbor had, and his name was Junior. And it was crazy because Junior was probably all of 14 inches. But the dog had a head like a pumpkin, and he was actually a red nose. If you can imagine that, a red nosed, dog. But I mean, I'm telling you, the guy was phenomenal, man. So these were dogs that early on that I see influenced me. And there's been other dogs. I will give you an example. There was an Amstaff dog by the name of oh my God, I'm gonna draw a blank now.
There he is.
He's back.
Oh, sorry about that.
You're good.
There was an Amstaff. Yeah, there was an Amstaff, and his name was Percy. It was Sierra's Percy Pennypacker. And this boy was a blue fawn and a beast, man. You know, he was probably he was on the bigger side of the AMSTAFs. And, you know, the AMSTAFs have a real strict standard, but he was amazing to me. I mean, I fell in love with the dog, man. He blew me away. You know, so there's been a progression of dogs throughout the years that I have seen it and admired. And I always loved the Sierra, and I always loved the Gaff dog. And these were both dual registered dogs. You know, they were both UKC and AKC registered. And these dogs, like I said, to me, they were phenomenal. And I'll give you an example. There was a dog by the name of Bacala, Gaff's Bacala. And Gaff's Bacala probably weighed, I want to say almost 100 pounds, maybe 95 pounds, right? And the written standard for the UKC at that time was 18 inches, 65 pounds. So they were way out of the range. But at that time, like everything else, there's waves, you know, there's trends. And these dogs were weighing in the UKC ring. And just to have an understanding of that, when the American Bully came in strong, the UKC actually made an amendment to their standard to make sure that they told people that, you know, a bullier style dog was not acceptable. So they checked themselves, even though it was already in their standard be 68 pounds, 18 inches, they had to check themselves and they went back to those standards. So they're back down to more of a terrier dog. But at one time, there was some really big UKC champions. And these are the dogs that, like I said, that influenced me growing up as a kid. And I loved them. And there was another gentleman that he had more of the ADBA, and he was a true competitor in the ring. And I'm not talking about the show ring. You know, I'm talking about the gladiator sport.
Yeah. We know, we kind of know about that.
Yeah, you know, and this gentleman, I mean, honest to God truth, man, his name was Steve Dunleavy. And I was just getting in high school, and I would pass by his place, and he was more of a, and don't take this wrong, you guys, he was more of a redneck type of person.
Don't take it wrong, bro. I know y'all from Kentucky. Don't take it wrong. When I first met the guy, you know, he was kind of standoffish. Here's this young kid, you know, I show up at his place and I want to see dogs, and I just want to pick his brain, man. And lo and behold, you know, the guy kind of accepted me into his little yard there. And we weren't the best friends. I would show up and I just got this feeling that he tolerated, you know, he tolerated this young kid wanted to understand about dogs. And he had some amazing animals. And some of his game dogs were kind of bullied, you know, and I've always gravitated to a dog with a little more substance, a little more head, you know, and these are people that, like I said, that had influenced me throughout the years, man. So I gotta give you know, accolades to people like Pam Carter. You know, she is the person that has Gaff Kennels, which probably at one time was one of the most renowned names out there. You know, Sierra Kennels, which is owned by Lorraine Wilson, which was another amazing set of dogs that produced amazing dogs. You know, and my mentor, which breaks my heart, I didn't find out probably about 4 months ago. Her name was Patty Allen. And Patty Allen was the person that took me under her wing. And I got my first show dog from her. And I just found out recently that she had passed away a year ago. And it breaks my heart because I wanted to get a picture of her just to archive it for my own personal use. You know, this was my mentor, you know, and this lady tolerated me. I mean, I swear to God, man, I must have been like freaking like a tick on a hound, man. You know, I would show up at her door every day after work, like 7 days a week, probably for almost a year, just to absorb knowledge and understanding of the dogs and the breed. And she was kind enough to take me in. That woman would even feed me, man. That's how long I would stay there after work, man. Poor lady, you know. In the beginning,
but you know, that was. Yeah, go ahead.
In the beginning, since you had you had mentors and you would get into it, was you always successful? Like, was there losses? Was there lessons? Like, you know, creating the American Bully to create a perfect dog. It takes time. You've been in it 40 years, and and sometimes you could still probably pick out flaws of your own stuff, but. Was you always successful? Was there lessons?
Losses?
Was there losses? Can you tell people 40 years in the game? I know you had to, I mean, I hate to even call it a game. The 40 years in the dog business, you got to learn a lot. There has to have been some ups and downs and some.
Oh, you know,
and you probably had one time when you thought you were done.
It's, I've had that a few times. The crazy thing is just something. It's a roller coaster ride. Every breeder, has their ups and downs, and sometimes as breeders, we lose concept and focus of what our game plan is, our blueprint, and we may step off. It's like backsliding. 1 minute you're loving Jesus, the next minute you're out drinking a beer. So the thing is, it happens to breeders, man. 1 minute we're there and we see something that everybody's excited about, and we may step off that path and do that, and come to realization, it didn't work out that way. So I'm gonna step back into my blueprint. So as far as successes and success and failures, I don't think there's a breeder out there that has not experienced success and failure. And there's a few people that may not have that, and that's a bad thing because they're not humble sometimes. And you need to be humble, to continue what you're doing. So, I'll give an example. I was talking about Patty Allen, which was my mentor. I bought my first dog, and at that time, I'm still dog poor, but at that time, the wife said to me, I said, you don't want to get the show dog? Said, yeah, go ahead. And I told her, she goes, oh, no. That's not coming out of the budget. We got to feed these kids. So when I got my first show dog, I literally recycled aluminum cans, saved the money to buy my first dog. Straight up.
Oh, damn.
Okay. Yeah. I can lie to you. And you may all laugh, but it was only $500. But, in 1987, $500 was a lot of damn money.
You could have bought a car. It's the same way now. You could have bought a car for that price.
Oh, without a doubt, brother.
That's funny.
So what sparked your interest in becoming a judge? Like what made it from
oh man.
Is it a long story?
No. Like I said, some Patty Allen again. I go back to Allen, because when I bought this dog, I wanted a showdown because I used to go to the UKC shows and I would see, back then they had the conformation ring, and they also had the working ring, which they would have the dogs, weight pool or hang time, and all that stuff disappeared because of all the tree huggers and people saying, "Oh, you're being cruel." And these dogs are they didn't understand that these dogs actually love to work. They want to please their masters, So, it stemmed from way back there. And so to become a judge at one time, like I says, I was doing this for a while, and I was invited to judge a show. And when I judged my first bully show, I'll never forget. It was on the coast, and I actually picked a dog that was more terrier, and it bothered me, and it wasn't that it was a bad choice, but I had to remember that this was a bully competition. Yes, so my next competition, I literally pulled myself in the corner of myself, and I said it out loud. I said, "Ron, these aren't pit bulls, these aren't Amstaffs, these are bullies." So I progressed from there, and I think I've learned, and I developed the eye to see the difference. And this is where we have some judges that don't understand that. If you got a judge that came from the pit bull world, it's hard for him to understand the bully world. And if you got a bully judge going into the pit bull world, it's hard for him to understand the breed. So, it takes a lot of years. So I've been blessed that I've been seasoned to see. I've judged in Europe game dogs. I've judged pit bulls of the UKC style. I've judged American bullies. I've done the exotic. So I've seen thousands and thousands of dogs. So I've been blessed to have developed an eye for each individual breed, and I also can appreciate and respect why the dogs were bred. And sometimes people in the dog world, they don't quite understand, the purpose of why a dog is bred. So when a guy calls a dog a reindeer, he doesn't understand what's going on. It just shows his ignorance, because that reindeer is like Edward Scissorhands in the ring with your dog. So it's one of those things, it's one of the things, and you got to respect the American Bully. The American Bully was developed to be a companion dog. He's going to be your best friend. He's going to sit on the couch with you. If he could share a beer and a sandwich with you, he would.
Mine tries.
So you got to appreciate why the dog was bred and what he was bred for. You know what I mean? So when I did my from there I was invited to judge for the ABKC, and I was probably one of the first 3 judges that were part of that. And the owner came to me and he said, Ron, you demand a lot of respect. People admire, they love you. Would you be director of judges? So I took that role and I grew the registry from being very slow moving to where it is today, and it evolved and it took some time to develop a code of ethics, find judges that had the eye and didn't feel that they owed one of their buddies a win or any kind of politicking. And so it's one of those things it's a hard thing to do. And I will say I'm very proud to be a part of the history of the bully movement. So I'm blessed, man.
Been a huge part of it.
And what was your question?
From when I told, of course, we talk, and I told him, I was like, man, I could screenshot the conversation. I was like, Ron Ramos agreed to be on Raw Dawggin. I'm like, for me, it's a big deal because, I respect you because like I said, we were even betting how long you've been in the bully. So of course, Brian was right, but I was.
I will tell you this. I will tell you this. I felt the same way when you guys invited me. I was excited, like, oh shit, Raw Dawg wants me on. Believe it or not, I'm not the guy that think I'm a guru, man. I'm a lifetime student of what we're doing here. And anytime somebody invites me, I get excited. And honest to God truth, man. I will never think that I'm above anybody. So I appreciate you guys for even considering me.
Thank you.
Well, so like what you just said, a student, and kind of like what we was talking about earlier, the breeds are different and all this kind of stuff. You've been around it for 40 years. So these standards of all these bull breeds have changed over and over and over. Do you feel like any of our standards right now are where they need to be, or is everything still, obviously the exotics, we're still trying to find a way with those.
Exactly.
But is the standards and the classics and stuff like that, do you feel like those are like spot on what they should be, or is there something that you want to see changed with those standards?
Yeah. For instance, this past weekend, the French Bulldog came second in West Ministry show, like in the runner up. It has a little bit longer muzzle than what the fad now of the smashed up Frenchies. Or if you look in the 1930s and 40s, the French Bulldogs and Bulldogs had a little bit further muzzle square, not the 60-degree angle now that that most people are chasing or trying to obtain. What do you think? Like everything is good now, or do you think there's still improvements for our breeds? Do you think some, we should go towards a certain way, or is there anything that you could kind of shine some light on that?
Well, great question, you guys. And I'm gonna tell you this right now. The standard, honestly, has not changed as much as people say it has. And I can vouch for this. The major registries that first recognized the American Bully have really honestly have not changed. I will tell you what has happened. What has happened is they've tightened the parameters. In other words, before what was allowed for a little more easty-westy or a little rise in the rear, those have been tightened up. So, in all honesty, it has not changed. They have just tightened the standard parameters. So, so with that being said, it really hasn't changed. As far as like, for example, you mentioned the Frenchies. The dog that won the Frenchie is it is a phenomenal example of what a Frenchie should look like. Yeah, and you mentioned the early years of the Frenchie. You go back and you look at some of the early photos of black and white Frenchies, and you can swear they're Boston Terriers.
Yes.
So because they have changed that much, and now some of these guys in the more in the bully community, they're putting on like big ropes and all that stuff, and again, it's tougher to follow a standard than just to be rampant and wild. And I'm not trying to belittle these guys at all. Everybody wants to do their own thing, and that's fine. But just understand the consequences that you're doing when you do this.
Yes.
And I will say this: the poor dog is the only animal on the planet that can be morphed with one breeding. Think about that. I can get a dog, and I can breed that dog, and I'm just going to go way out in left field. I'll get me a greyhound, and I can breed him to a bulldog, and guess what? Presto changeo, I got a whole different breed. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And you do that to humans. You may change skin tone a little bit, you may change some facial features, but you will never morph or change an animal as much as they do in the dog world. And
You
think about that. The thing is, that's a pretty cool thing, but at the same time, it could be a curse. The poor animal suffers because what we want it to be and what we think is pleasing to the eye. So sad to say, man has destroyed many a great breed. And when I say that, if you watch, for example, the German Shepherd, amazing animal, but they wanted to have a sloping top line. They wanted to have that crazy turn of the stifle, and the dog ended up having really bad, rear assemblies. Yeah, hip dysplasia, poor hips. I mean, the whole 9 yards.
I've seen
and
more.
And it's because of us.
German Shepherds get fucked.
Yeah, honest to truth.
Yeah, I at the vet, my wife being a vet tech, we see so many German Shepherds that have bad hips. There's a couple breeders that come to our vet too as well, and they check every single pup, like just every single one, because where, like you said, it's just something now that is reoccurring in their breed that the human.
And the sad thing is now they're playing the game of saving the breed and making it healthy again, and that's a difficult road.
Yes.
So I just want people to be aware that whatever you do, have a little conscious. I'm no different than anybody else. Trust me, man. I push the envelope. I will tell you this. I coined the phrase extreme to clean. That was a Papa Pitt saying. Yes, extreme males. And I got a happy medium, but the thing is, though, I knew when to stop. I didn't keep going crazier and crazier and crazier because I knew that I would end up having to pay the consequences. And I wanted people to be kind and happy with my dogs.
Yes, sir.
So many people think that, they want to sell this crazy, freaky dog. And at the end of the day, a lot of the families are brokenhearted from what has happened. And again, I'm not trying to disrespect you guys. I just want these guys to be aware and to make the best exotic they can.
We are.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm one of the few.
It's funny that you say that because one of our questions to you, one of our breeding questions was.
Yeah, we had a breeding question.
Yeah, we have you ever used a non-show dog with a show quality dog to get any kind of exaggerated features? And I mean, do you feel like that's something you need to do?
Yeah, that's gonna say
I just confessed, extreme to clean. That was one of my phrases that a lot of guys, and it's funny because a lot of breeders did that, and they will never say that, Papa Pitt, that was something Papa Pitt did and I mimicked, or Papa Pitt gave me some guidance. They're so caught up on their egos that they will never say that, I took a little advice from Papa Pitt.
I'm glad you said that because I probably will message you after the interview because next week we were talking about that for like an exotic world, how like everyone wants to add a little bit of freakiness, to get and you want, and like for us, me, Tim, and a lot of these newer guys that are starting to push the exotics in the ring, when it's too much freakiness, like, you know what I mean? Like my number, I have one pet peeve, and when it comes feet, the exotic, because I'm a nano guy. So, and getting them down, shrinking them down as much as we are on some of them with the micros and nanos, they have the dwarfism and they have floppy feet, and well, none of mine do. Like, and I'm trying to teach people that you can breed tight, clean feet. You can still have some muzzle and still get the girth and bulk that you're going to want. You're just going to have, like you said, it's going to be a long, drawn out process. This isn't something overnight that we're going to do.
Amen. What you just said. I respect the fact that, your pet peeve is feet. And I don't need to tell you, when you go to these table stack offs and all the shows, what do the feet look like?
Oh,
a
like
mess.
horse shit. Like horse shit.
Yeah,
That's
that's
why they don't like doing
some
it
you
in
got some
concrete.
pancakes and splayed feet. Yeah, you got some pancakes and splayed feet. I've seen dogs that look like they got flippers, and that breaks my heart when I see them walking, and they're not walking on their feet. They're literally walking on their ankle, their pastern, and that's a heartbreak. Like I said, I'm the first guy to tell you I love pushing the envelope, but guess what? I will not sacrifice structure just to get a headpiece or just to get the width on the dog. I mean, when I look for my stud dogs outside the yard, they got to have pretty damn near everything. I used the dog by the name of Young Money, right? And this dog, when I went there, I'd never seen the dog in my life. And I contacted a friend of mine, which was Anthony Villarreal, real good friend of mine. We go way back in the dog world, showing dog, AKC, UKC. And he's in Southern California. I said, hey, Anthony, I need a stud dog, but I want this guy to be a freak. But you already know, Anthony, I'm not gonna throw the baby out with a bathwater. I mean, he's got to have some shit coming to the table, So sure enough, he says, Ron, go hit up what's his last name? Raja Tamayo. I think it's Raj Tamayo. I can't remember his name, but he was a West Coast guideline and Raja. And I've known Raj for a long ass time, man. So I called him and said, hey, Raj, this is Ron. He goes, oh, Papa Pitt. Oh, shit, come on down. You say, so yeah. So I traveled on this country 8 hours to see this dog, right? And the crazy thing is I took the bitch because she was in heat now. I was going down there. I was thinking like, oh, shit, if I go down and I like this dog, I'm just going to turn around and come home. And I told him, he was, oh, no, I respect that, Ron. So I went down there, right? And this dog was all of 14 inches. Somebody should have put a damn tattoo on the side of the head that said Spalding basketball, NBA, because it was a monster head on him. He was an amazing animal. And I bred him to a dog that had bully traits behind her, but she was very terrier. And I mean, you gotta remind me, I'll send you pictures and you'd be blown away. And the results were phenomenal. And from there, I took those dogs and I went back into, and from there I took dogs and I went back into the bully. But again, I made sure that these bullies had some type of structure, and I did it again. And I got dogs to me that were amazing. I got a dog here by the name of Soja. And Soja he's crazy. He's a beautiful little guy. And I love him.
I told him, I said, man, I like this boy Soja.
Well, you got to come see this boy, man. He'll blow your mind, dude. He's amazing. And I took his sister back to her uncle, which is that Young Money, that dog that I had, the Pumpkinhead. And I got a boy by the name of Boom Boom. And Boom Boom, to me right now, man, he is probably one of the best bullies I've produced, man. Because, he's got beautiful tight feet. He's got a compact body. He's probably like 15 inches. He's got, we measured his head 17 months old. He had a 25-inch head. And I didn't measure.
Send us some pictures. We'll get him on.
Here's the crazy thing. I didn't measure the dog because I don't go around measuring my dogs. I'm a type of guy that I like balanced and symmetrical, and a judge seeing them, and the judge says, hey, Ron, you mind if I measure his head? I don't care. Go ahead, do what you want to do, man. He measured the dog's head at 17 months old and it's 25 inches, and I was like, holy shit, I didn't realize it was that big. You know what I'm saying? So he had a nugget, man. But the crazy thing is, if I send you pictures of this animal, he looks like just an American bully. But you know what I'm saying? It's so ironic. The more clean and correct a bully is, the less he looks like a bully, as that makes any sense. Because it's a deception. He looks like a pit bull, but you know what I'm saying? Because the cleaner they are, sometimes it takes away from the girth and the mass. You know what I'm saying? And but that's just one of the experiences I had, and I guess I'm very happy with him. I just bred him recently, and I'm very content with the dogs. And being a breeder, and when you're developing breeds, if you want to stay correct, I mean, if you just want to breed, by all means, that's on you. But if you want to stay correct, it's a balancing act because you got to go back and forth. You got to go extreme clean, and get that consistent look. And then you do your line breeding. So, and that's the other thing. I think too many people are doing too much inbreeding, and sometimes the inbreeding is not a good thing, you guys, because what happens is, when you're trying to lock in certain traits on a dog, and if they have bad traits, you're locking those in as well. So just to be an exaggeration, if you breed two dogs that are easty westy and they happen to be brother and sister or whatever it may be, you're locking in that trait even heavier. And so it's one of those things where when you do inbreedings, you want to make sure that you're using two very exceptional dogs. Just because everybody's doing it and they think, oh, that's the thing, and you hear it all the time. That is not the thing to do. I based a lot of my breedings on the genophenotype.
Yes.
I do it
I'm
more
so
on
glad you just
the
brought that
appearance.
up.
I've gotten two dogs that are very similar. Yeah, I do a lot of breeds that are similar in type, and I get good results. And then I will do an inbreeding, not necessarily any tight breeding. I'm not a big fan of a lot of inbreedings. I will do a tight breeding, And when I got Boom Boom, it was actually a niece to an uncle, and that turned out really nice for me. And
That's
one of the
awesome.
girls went to the Philippines, and she's killing it. She's killing it in the show ring in the Philippines. So just don't be a parrot, man. I mean, there's a lot of people that do the monkey see, monkey do. Do your own research a little bit, man. Do some research on inbreedings, line breedings and outcrosses. You'll be surprised what you'll learn.
So over the years of all the creating, you've judged every registry known to out here that's running now. And has there been any dogs like by the time they've already champed out by the time they've seen you and you've came up and you're like, how in the hell has this been champed? Like, or am I the only person that has had? I mean, I just now started getting to judging, but then there's been some people that already have like titles, and I'm like, how in the hell was this?
You don't
the
have
best
to give
dog?
a dog.
You don't have to say a specific thing. But have you ran into that? Like, this is just stuff like that, I'm picking because like I'm new to judging. I've only judged 4 shows, like, you know what I mean? And I study this stuff. That's why if you'll let me harp in your ear, I'll probably drive you insane. But
I'm gonna tell you right now. If you're serious about this,
yes, sir. I'm dead
door.
serious.
It's an open door, man. If I'm ever at a show and you're near me and you want to come in and you want me to sit at the ringside with you and tell you what I see and what you're seeing, I would be more than happy to help you, man. And
that's a blessing. I thank you because I'm definitely going to take you up on that. I promise that for sure.
Well, on that note, I will tell you this. At one time, and this, I'm not a guy that that pats myself in the back, and I'm not the guy that toots my own horn. But I will say this: at one time, I probably trained 95% of the judges around the world. That was my duty as a director of judges. I would go and I would train judges, and also got to I trained a lot of judges. The judges used today, a lot of them were trained by me and a few other guys. They had to go through a mentorship. They had to go through a process of being mentored in the ring. You had to do 3 apprenticeships in order to become a judge. But a lot of these guys came to me and I helped them get through that process. So with that being said, there are dogs that have fallen through the cracks. And I will say they didn't fall through the cracks. Because what happened is that we had a lot of judges that were still in the inception and learning stages. So some of these dogs did win and some of them didn't deserve their titles, but that doesn't mean that they were not nice dogs. You have to remember, you have to understand that this was a developmental breed. And so these dogs are in the name one, but they still deserve their titles. And people will say, oh, they didn't deserve their titles. I can't believe. Yeah, you're right. Guess what? It's going to happen. And with that being said, many of these dogs, have went forward and used them as tools to better the breed. Yeah. And I will say, I like have little sayings that I put in my head to remind what I'm doing. Like I told you before, your success is my success. Yes, one of my other mantras when I go into a show ring is the dogs I champion today will be the breeding stock of tomorrow. So that's a heavy burden. That's a heavy burden on the judge. Yeah, because we are conservators of the breed. So it's a very important role that we play. And the other sad thing that happens with judges and some of these dogs that win is there's little things that are not discussed in the general public and it's discussed in the judges world. And some of it's called what they call a safe win. If you ever notice a dog that wins and all of a sudden this guy gets on a run, he can't lose a show. And guess what? Sometimes that's because the judges lack the courage to say, something, this other dog looks pretty damn nice. He's going to be my winner today. So they don't want to face that controversial or that that talk about them. So they're worried about what other people's, opinion will be. And I will say this, if you are a sincere judge and you have respect from the community, they will not question you. But
Yes, sir.
you better put up the best dog that day. And there's so much truth to the saying, every dog has his day.
It
So
really does.
It does. So, one day he may be on, the next day he's off. So the thing is, have the courage, and have the cojones to say this dog deserving over the dog that's kicking everybody's ass on a regular basis. And that's not just protecting that dog that's winning. It's giving that other guy an opportunity to say, I do have something worthy of competing.
Yes,
So it's one of the things where anybody could pick the same dog over and over again. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
And a lot of people say, why doesn't this dog win with every judge? Why, if it was that way, why would you even compete? I guarantee you, if Joe Schmo, the bully, would win every show, you wouldn't show up to the show. Why should I go? He's going to win anyway.
Right.
So it's one of those things where be just and be honest about your selection. If nobody can deny you if you pick a great dog that day. It doesn't have to be the dog that's that's won 15 best in shows in a row. If there's a dog out there that, guess what, he does look damn nice. He deserves a win. You're not going to go to hell for that.
Right.
So it's one of those things where sometimes you got to man up. You got to man up and pick the right dog that day.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Who's your the dog that you've enjoyed the most, judging? When you when you saw him, you just
one dog that stuck
out. Like when you saw him in the show ring, you were like, man, this is probably the best dog I've got to put hands on in the show ring of all time. Do you have one?
Man, that's a tough one. And the reason I say it's a tough one is, I've been judging bully shows since 2004. So what are you talking? 12? But I can't do the math. It's a lot of years.
18.
So 18 years. Okay, I've been blessed to have put my hands on thousands, tens of thousands of dogs.
Yeah, I was just saying,
not just in the United States. Not just the United States. I have been blessed that I've been to over 20 different countries to judge shows. And I was telling you guys earlier before the live is I was invited to Moscow, and it breaks my heart because right now with the conflict with the Ukraine and Russia, I don't think it was a wise decision. If I go there, I might be putting myself in jeopardy and saying so. But just to be invited blows my mind. But just to pick one particular dog is very difficult. I've had the opportunity of judging probably total of 5 national shows with different registries. I mean, I've done 2. I think it was 2 for the 2 or 1 for the BRC. I did 3 or 4 with the ABKC. And the reason I did that many is because I actually didn't do the complete shows. There was a couple of times where a judge arrived late and I had to fill in to start the show off and so forth. But I've done some serious shows in Europe, South America. I mean, I've done some amazing shows. I did a show in Ireland that had probably 325 dogs. So I've done some very serious shows, and it's crazy because the more pressure, the more comfortable I feel. I feel like this is where I belong. This is my fit. So, yes, but to particular dogs, it's tough. I mean, I gave King Kamali his national win. I gave what's the other little dog? Oh God, Danzel his national win. Okay. And what's the other one? I gave a couple of other ones. I can't remember. I'm sorry, forgive me. I'm getting old. My mind isn't all there. But, I give some great dogs some wins. One of the dogs that I did not judge, and I seen him in the ring, and I really admire the dog, was a dog by the name of Austin Martin. I mean, he was an amazing animal. I love the dog. He was a beautiful animal for what he was. Austin Martin, I'm not sure if he was at a Remy or not. I don't think he was, but he was a beautiful animal. And there's been other dogs that I've judged that, that I wish I knew their names, because I guess I've been doing this so long. And as a judge, I go in there. I don't want to know. I don't want to know the dog's name. I don't want to know his pedigree. I don't want to know who owns him. When I go in there, I want to see just the dog. And I've had many times where somebody say, "Well, I was just in the ring. Don't you remember me?" And the sad thing is, I've never seen the guy's face. I'm so focused on the damn dog that you could be Gumby coming to the ring, or Mickey Mouse. I wouldn't know who you were, man, because I'm so focused on the damn dog that I don't even know what color shoes you were wearing. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm looking down.
Tunnel vision. It really is.
Oh, you do, man. You get so focused, man, that you can't see nothing, man. You don't even hear the crowd.
I had my wife hauling for me because they really needed me like to do something like for our booth, and I was like, she's like, I was hauling for you. I'm like, I don't hear nothing when I'm inside the ring.
You don't hear it. You don't hear. Something. You don't hear nothing. Because you know why? You're so focused that unless they go up there and grab you by your arm or tap you, you can't hear nothing. You're so zoned in that it's like being an athlete. I remember back in the days when I played sports, I used to get so zoned in that I didn't hear nothing, man. You're in a vacuum. It's crazy, man. But to pick out particular dogs is very difficult, because I see some amazing dogs, and I wish I would have had their names to give them to you guys. And so it's really tough. And there's a lot of great breeders.
I'm gonna put you on the spot again, though.
There you go. Go ahead. Let's do it.
All right. So we got another bet on this one.
Yes, we do.
Out of your personal dogs, your dogs that you've had on your yard, who is your favorite?
Man. Something, man, that's a tough one. Let me tell you why, man. Because my dogs have evolved just like the American Bully has evolved. In the early days of the American Bully, when they were in the concept, the dogs were, and this is where people get hurt about it, because I'll answer your question, but I just want to lead you to it. But in the early days, the dogs were big pit bulls. And the whole ideal of the American Bully was an extreme dog, so it slowly, gradually became more and more extreme. And at one point, some of the judges that were coming across and being judges for the Bully, they focused too much on structure, and you can't do that. It's a balancing act. You need breed type, then structure, and health. So if you focus strictly on structure, you're going to miss it, and I'll give you an example. And I'll give an example as one of the examples that I've given to other judges, and some judges use the example. And the example is this. I could take a Doberman Pinscher, don't cut his ears, and take him into a Rottweiler ring. The markings and coloring is all the same. They got the tan points in the eyes. They got the tan points in the chest. And guess what? That Doberman will glide in the ring. He's going to fly, man. He's going to make it look effortless. He's going to have beautiful turn of the stifle. He's going to have an amazing front. But he doesn't have breed type. Does he deserve to win? No. As gracious and as beautiful as he is, he's not a Rottweiler. And this is what happens when you focus so much on structure and you don't look at breed type. You lose the look. You're trying to separate yourself from other breeds, and this is where breed type comes in. So, so with that being said, I'm back to your question again. I forgot what you said. Damn, I got so involved with that.
I'm going to use that for the exotics. I will.
No. What was the question? What was the question? I'm sorry, I got sidetracked.
Your personal, what dog?
Oh, my personal favorite. Oh my God, man. My dogs are like my children, man. I'm telling you what, one of my dogs died, man. I cried, dude. I'm a bitch. I'm a bitch when I come to my dog. I cry, dude. I love my dog, man. Like, me too. Man, don't die on me. You know what I'm saying? So, one of my dogs that I just admire so much was a dog by the name of Porky. And Porky to me was amazing.
Hey, son of a bitch. He caught it again.
But listen to me though. But I'm gonna tell you now, Porky was in the he was part of the inception. He was part of the vision. Yes, but if I were to go today, he was the foundation of where I was going. And the sad thing is, I was so involved with what I was doing that I didn't collect them and I didn't save them. So I'm sad to tell the world that I don't have nothing on Porky. But in modern times, in times today, I would have to say right now, the dog that I have, it's not so much that I love him more than my other dog. It's just that his structure wise, his appearance and everything right now is boom, boom. Boom, boom to me right now is an amazing animal. And people can't see him, like I said, because when you take photos of him, he looks very clean. He looks like a damn regular, bully. When this guy's got, tree trunks, he's short back. I mean, he's got a head that's amazing. His rear is as thick as his chest, and he's spin off from Soldier. So, so if I were to pick them dogs, it would be hard because those three dogs to me are amazing. And the dog that I really love, believe it or not, is Zaza, and Zaza is the mother to Soldier. So for me to pick one dog, it's hard, but I have to go. Like I said, I have to say Porky. Porky was an amazing animal, man. He was one of those dogs that, man.
One bet number two.
Yeah, you know right now.
Hey, you owe me a steak and a beer.
He does. He does.
That's funny. I really did like I was showing him some pictures of dogs that, from the past and stuff like that. And I said, watch. I said, one of the questions I want to ask him is who his favorite dog was that he had in his yard. Because I remember Porky. I remember when he was around, like that was to me, I think that was like what you thought the ideal dog. Like that was the standard, or at least that's how I took it as back then. Because I
man,
knew
no bullshit, man. The guy was amazing, man. You think? And again, I wish I could have used it more, and I wish I would have done it because I think he would have took it to another level. And he was coming off of the corrupt blood. He was the corrupt line, and the headpieces. He had muscle, he had chest. The guy had a rear. He was amazing. I wish I could have incorporated him to what I have now, but I can't complain. Like I said, because right now I feel like Boom Boom and Soldier right now are amazing animals, and they're producing their asses off. And what you see in the dog world today, some of them are lacking their rears. And these two dogs, man, they're putting some crazy rears on them. And they're amazing.
That may actually answer another one of our questions.
Was
old school blood. What old school blood to new school blood would you want to
like
pair
to
up?
see? Like, even if it's not around anymore, like you
Oh,
just like
man.
we mentioned a lot of that's one thing we've been doing a lot on the show, because we want a lot of the guests. We always encourage them to look up some of these dogs. We always do. That's one thing, because you can always, Google has changed, and on Facebook and everything. We have people talk about the bully boards, and so people know about the history of some of this. Is there a blood that you like, man, dude, if we did this with this, or is it the program that you're using? It could be.
Well, I'm glad you bring up the old days, because I miss the day the MSN boards, because that was really cool, man. It was almost like debating like live, man. It's like we're doing, me and you guys are doing right now. We can talk to each other, right? But it was all in text. But the thing is, though, it was live. This guy would say something and you could answer him. And I'm telling you right now, man, there was some great debates on there. It's thank God that they were only on the PC, because these guys go to pod, we went to blows over and shit. They're talking. But back to that question. It's a great question, man. I'm gonna tell you why, man. A lot of people don't understand how some of these breeds were developed, and I'm not going to take away from none of these guys. I'm going to give you an example. Razor's Edge. Razor's Edge, believe it or not, was developed by two different dogs, and then I shouldn't say two different dogs, but two main players, because there was a lot of dogs involved in developing the breed. One of them was a dog by the name of Watuka Spirit, and he was an Amstaff, an overdone, Brindle type dog, right? And he also incorporated the gaff line, and those were some of the key players to develop the look he had. And I'm sure there was other dogs, Yeah, there was a gaff dog in there. So the thing is, like I said, and I'm just speaking from what I've been read and what I've learned. I'm sure that, he has much more on it than I can. But this is just from me recollecting what I've seen and read. And so I'm not trying to disrespect the man. I'm sure there's a lot of dogs involved. But if I were to incorporate dogs, man, believe it or not, if I wish I could get some dogs in here and from the old world and bring them back in and develop them. You know, I would have to say there was some pretty amazing Sierra dogs. There was a dog, like I said, there was a dog, Percy Pennypacker. The guy was a monster, man. He was a beast. Another Sierra dog was a dog by the name of Boulder's Brass. And Boulder's Brass, he looked like a little pocket, but on steroids, man. The guy was just fucking shredded, man. And he was ripped, man. So he was an amazing dog. And then I would take those two dogs and I would bring him into, believe it or not, something like, you know, the corrupt dogs. I mean, you know, I don't think people realize how much influence the corrupt line had in the, you know, Big Hearn, you know, he had some amazing animals, man. If you ever get a chance to Google and look for a dog by the name of Panic, I mean, you see this dog, I promise. Oh, he'll blow your mind, bro. That head, tell me, man. Tell me what was that headpiece on the dog, man? I mean, honest to God truth, man, he made a basketball look like a freaking marble, man.
Yeah.
I mean, there's it's ridiculous. Seriously. There's a picture of him in the back of a pickup truck, and there's a guy standing next to him. If you see that picture, you get an idea about this dog's head. I mean, right now, and it wasn't just that it was big; it was clean. There was not a bunch of wrinkles on it. I mean, you know, it was amazing. Probably one of the most amazing heads you'll ever see, man. Honest to God, in my opinion, that to me that is the head of all time, man. You know what I'm saying? And his name was oh man, I'm telling you, Panic was amazing. The headpiece and his body was amazing. So if I would get, like I said, if I could get Panic with some Sierra in there and some Gaff and believe it or not, a little bit of Gotti, because the Gotti, as people as much, you know, talk about Gotti and they say, oh, I don't want no Gotti, I don't want this. They did change the game, man. They really did. They took some of the size off, you know, they added some of that bulliness, you know, so you can't deny them, man. I don't give a damn what anybody says, you know, and I'm a realist, man. Right. You know, I'm not so prideful that I say, oh man, you know, I can't do that. And, you know, those are the dogs that I would like to look at and bring him in to do something with them. You know, that was my thing. And I can't deny my mentor.
Holy shit. His crop was he even has that Dawggin cut before Dawggin had it. Like, you know.
Oh, I mean, way before all that stuff. Way before.
Horns. Like, I mean, literally, there's nobody here that does that kind of crop anywhere in our location. But God, I mean, look at the shoulders and neck on him too.
I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you that was a freak of nature. Honest to God, truth. I would take 10 of him, man.
Oh, me too. I would take him right now. I know what I throw into him.
He was a big dog overall. Just like everything about him was big.
Yeah, you know, but when you say big, don't get confused, you guys. He was not an XL. This guy was probably short. Yeah, he was a short standard.
Just a thick,
he was a short. Oh man, amazing dog.
I mean, look how wide. And the crazy thing is, this is before Photoshop.
Oh yeah.
Like,
that's real shit right there.
People make their dogs look like that in today's world. Like, you know what I mean? Just on a smaller frame. But yes. So we've asked you tons of questions, you know, about new bloods, your time. We wanted to, like, if we got, like we said, we have a lot of new breeders, and the fact that you said breed type, you know, structure, health. Could you give any advice to, like, and when I say we have a lot of new people, and even hell, I mean, I'm still learning every day. Could you give us like some advice, maybe like to tell like breeders what they should start with? Like, we always harp on foundation females first. I mean, that's one thing my mentor, even though I bought a male first because I didn't listen to him because I needed the stud, like at the time, you know, everybody. You know, and it's just everybody wants their manly dog, and that's it. But could you give us some light and shine some light? Like, just tell like the newer guys. I mean, you got the knowledge. We just would love to just keep picking at your brain.
Well, you know, I'm glad you asked that question, man. Let me tell you why. Because, you know, I don't need to tell you guys how many times if you go onto the internet, or whether it be Instagram, Facebook, or some forum, and they say, well, there's no mentors. You know, there's nobody out there that want to help. You know, well, guess what, you guys? You're not looking hard enough, man. You know, right. and the fact of the matter is, sometimes you don't want a mentor because you don't want to hear what he has to say to you. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes, Yeah, you might not like it. You know what I'm saying? So I will tell you this: seek out a good mentor, you guys,
Yes, sir.
and don't take it as an insult or a belittlement. Look at it as constructive criticism. Sometimes sometimes people don't realize somebody doesn't care for you, they're gonna let you put that noose around your neck. But somebody that loves you and cares for you can tell you, hey, you know something, man, you're fucking up, man. You're doing this, you're doing that. So it's one of those things where sometimes you might not want to hear what they have to say, but that doesn't mean it's etched in stone. Take it with a grain of salt and put your own twist to it. But the thing is, listen and seek those guys out. The other thing I can tell you is I see too many people that when they get money in their pocket, it just burns holes in their pocket. They can't wait to get that money away. They're impatient. Sometimes you may find a breeder that you may like, but you don't have a puppy right now. So guess what you go do? You got to run off. You got to spend that money, man.
I've been guilty of it.
Yeah,
I've been guilty.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Don't do that, man. The other thing is save your money. And the reason I say save your money, sometimes it may be a little more expensive than another breeder, and you're saying, well, shit, I can't afford that. I'll just go with this guy. And that doesn't say that every expensive dog is the right dog. Don't misinterpret that, because sometimes I've seen some badass dogs in backyards that people have no idea about. So the thing is, do your research. Back in the days when we would go through the Thrifty Nick or whatever, and we looked over more fences than we did at dog shows. You'd be surprised what you would find in somebody's backyard. I may blow your mind what's back there. And the other thing is, look at as many litters as you can. Develop an eye of what you're looking at. Look at the mother, look at the father, look at the grandparents. Is this dog that I'm looking at, is he an anomaly? And what I mean by an anomaly is he the only freak behind a bunch of pit bulls?
Right.
He may be the hippopotamus, and everybody behind him look like a whippet. So be aware. Be aware. Make sure you look at everything. Look at as much as you can. And again, like I said, go ahead.
You're probably saying not even just if you're looking to buy a puppy. You're saying just as a person, look at as many breedings and puppies that you can.
Every great dog man, if he is a great dog man, he's not afraid to look at other dogs. And this is what happens in the bully world today. There's a lot of egos.
Yes.
And the egos, believe it or not, egos are like putting blinders on. You only see what's in front of you, and you can't see what's behind you or next to you. So it's a sad thing that a lot of these so-called heavy hitter, big time breeders, got blinders on. I'm one of those guys. I'm not afraid to go look at somebody else. I'm not afraid to use somebody else's dog. It's not going to hurt me. At the end of the day, I'm trying to make a golden child. I'm trying to make that super dog. I don't give a damn where I go to get it. As long as it's the right dog. And this is what I say about doing your homework and looking at litters so you can develop an eye and understand what you're looking at. Because sometimes, all puppies look the same, but in all honesty, they don't. So when you start looking at a lot of litters and you understand your concept of what you want, the more your clearer your vision is when you look at the puppies. And the same thing applies when you're looking for stud dogs. A lot of people will go for a stud dog and all they see is that stud in front of them. They can't see his parents. They get blinded. Like, oh my God, he's freaking phenomenal, man. That's and I tell people this. I said, you guys got to remember now, on that dog, it's a penis, not a magic wand. He ain't gonna go abracadabra over your bitch, and you're gonna have great dogs.
Exactly.
It's essential that you understand what's behind that dog and what's behind the bitch you have. Because that bitch may have a lot of terrier dogs behind her, and you're not gonna get what you expect. So it's not an easy process. Pedigrees, a lot of things. Here's another thing: pedigrees. A lot of people will look at pedigrees and they say, well, oh man, this dog is, he's 4 times, Bobby McGee, and 6 times Billy Joe on the other side. I'm gonna give me a great dog. Remember this, you guys. 5 times a piece of shit times 6 times a piece of shit is going to give you a piece of shit. The old saying goes, you can't make chicken salad with chicken shit. Well, the same applies. You know what I'm saying? So it's one of those things. Really do your homework, you guys.
Well, hell, nowadays you can't even go by pedigree anymore.
It's really hard.
Oh man, that's a whole nother thing right there, brother. I'm telling you.
Yes, it is.
Now,
I mean, I spoke to a young man today. Literally, he bought a dog from a decent breeder, a well-known breeder. Well, he met the bigger breeder and was like, "Hey, this dog is off this," and he's like, "That's not off my dog." And I was like, man, I was like, I don't want to be a part of this, but I will tell you what I know about your situation. And that's what, and literally, and I was like, so it helps because people, again, you want to chase a certain look. Everybody is chasing a certain, like me, I like short, tight skin. Like, I don't like the bulldog ear style exotic. That's just not my thing. Do I have it? Yes, I have it on my yard and people love it. I can sell those dogs as fast as I can make them almost in bulldog ear style. But I like my vision. You know what I mean? I want my version, but I will accommodate other people as well. It's just something I've learned to do. But he didn't.
Let me just interject on that right there real quick, man. It's funny you say that because you say you can't trust the pedigree sometimes, right? And in the early years, I had a breeder that one time. I was trying to learn more. I mean, I've been breeding a long time, but I wanted to learn more about the bully dog. Right? I wanted to, it was easy breeding a pit bull and an Amstaff. They're pretty much cookie cutter. You can't miss.
Right.
And the other thing is the breed is 135 years old versus a breed that's 20 years old. So the consistency there. So what a guy told me one time years ago, he says, Ron, it's knowing where the special sauce was put in. Some say it was knowing where that dog that isn't in the breed was introduced. The closer you breed to that guy, is the better the results. So it's so it was one of those things. But I will say this though, in today's bully world, you don't need to go that route anymore because a lot of the dogs are gaining, they're getting really, honest to God truth, they're gaining the consistency and they're producing the consistency. So you don't have to chase that. You don't need to introduce that bulldog or the oldie bulldoggy into there. For the fact of the matter is, they're getting we're finally going where we need to be. We're perfecting the breed. I'm saying.
Yes, sir.
And for those guys that don't believe that those dogs were introduced into the breed, you're living a fallacy. Because there's no way you can tell me that you can get a pit bull and an Amstaff, which were registered under the same registries at one time. You could own at one time an AKC pit bull Amstaff, and you could own a pit bull Amstaff registered to the UKC. So they're both registries recognized. So you're very much breeding cousins, and you're trying to tell me you're going to get a dog that's all of a sudden, he's got logs for legs. He's got muzzle that's 2 inches shorter. Those traits have to be. Well, that's a whole nother subject, brother. But let me finish this.
Sorry.
You will never get those traits in a dog if they're not introduced. And I will use me as an example. I'm a Mexican. I come from Mexican descendants. I'm American. I'm born in America, but my parents were both Mexican. It's like me. Getting 2 Mexicans and bring 2 Mexicans and get a Chinese kid. It ain't gonna happen, man.
Exactly.
You have to introduce those traits to get that look. So now and you talk about fluffies, that's another subject. First it was started out with the Frenchies. No. It's a good shot because let me tell you why. Because at one time they did have a long-haired Frenchie. But
yes,
it's a rarity, man. And all of a sudden, like overnight, they're popping up everywhere. You see, and if you know anything about genetics, that shit don't happen that fast, brother. I'm telling you right now. Man.
Right.
Not in 2 years. I just found out that I could buy one for a lot cheaper price than what goes around here. But because he said people are just making them now, he was like, it is a rarity.
Yeah, but back in the old days, in the early days, I'll give an example. Amstaffs, you were hell bent to find a tricolor Amstaff, and I'm gonna tell you why you couldn't find a tricolor Amstaff. There wasn't that they didn't exist; it's just that they called them. the reputable breeders didn't want to be known for having a dog. So guess what? He went to the bucket of water. So some people never seen those dogs. I'm saying, but they did exist. They were there. So it's one of the things where nowadays, if it sells, we'll do it. And the other thing is that if we can be so far out and so different, we could charge crazy amount of money. I got a dog here, man. That guess what, man? He's got pink polka dots. He's freaking rare, man. So I'll take 40,000 for him, and people would jump on that. You know what I'm saying? And the ironic thing is that it's not a dig at them. I respect them for their hustle, but the thing is always be real. And I think nowadays it's more and more open, and people are understanding that a lot of these are designer dogs, whether you want to say it or not. Whether and I'm okay with that, man. But the thing is, a lot of the new people are being lied to. You see, so some of those things were.
I tell him all the time, I like it for what it is. If you say what it is,
hell, we were walking at the Mount Washington Festival just a couple weekends ago, and they're like, "Oh, what?" Because they ain't never seen no bullies out here, and where I live in my community, it's like I'm a rarity. But so we're walking around, they're like, "Well, what is that?" I'm like, the best way to me to explain it to you. This is a Labradoodle, but in a bully version. That's the best way I could explain it to him. Like I couldn't explain it. I'm like I said, just a designer dog. You know how you got your Pomskis or your Labradoodles? I said this is our version, but in a bully world, and that's the best.
It's a hybrid.
Because when unless they had time, I'm like, you got all day. I see we can sit right here and we'll go. But that's the best way, like you said, a designer dog. Definitely.
Yeah, it's a hybrid. You know what I'm saying? So it's one of those things where people don't understand that. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, you don't have to go out and do that anymore, because you can find dogs that are very bully now without having to go behind closed doors. You don't have to do that, man. I mean, I can go out all day long and add size, head shape, everything to my dogs without having to do anything like that. In fact, I have never done that, praise God. Everything I've done has been legitimately with dogs. Now, whatever that dog guy does with this dog, whatever he did to develop him, I can't talk on that, because I wasn't there when he did the breeding. I can speculate. It doesn't take a genetic engineer to look at some of the stuff and say, something doesn't look like what I think it is, and that's just being honest and real. The thing is, again, people have been doing this for years now, so they're not ignorant anymore. They understand what's up. They understand what's going on.
Oh, definitely.
But the thing is, there's a lot of people that don't, though.
Yeah, exactly. So we're getting down to the end. What's coming up for Mr. Ron Ramos? Do you got any shows coming up? Obviously you're not going to do Moscow, but is there anything else that you got going on that we could look forward to seeing Mr. Ron Ramos and Papa Pitt?
Yeah, something, I do have a couple of rules, and God, I should have wrote down the dates and stuff, because I feel bad now, because I'm doing the show for Mansfield in Reedley real soon. Great bunch of guys. I'll be judging that show there. It's in Reedley, California, and I'm sorry I don't remember the dates on some of these. I'll be there. I will be in North Carolina real soon as well. I'll be judging a show there for Timothy St. Clair, awesome guy, and then his fiance Stephanie. So I'm looking forward to that. I'll be in Washington, actually in the Tri-City area, which is like Washington, Oregon. It's like right on the border on the east coast of Washington, Oregon. I'm gonna be there. I'm excited to do that show. I will be going to Manchester, England to do a show, which I'm excited about.
That's awesome.
And they're trying to get me back to Italy again, and that'll be my fourth time. I will be there in December, and I'm excited. I love going to Italy. It's a beautiful place. Again, Moscow I'm invited, but I don't think I'm going to go to Moscow. Because I don't want to be held hostage.
Not right now.
Not right now, man. You let that shit calm down, and I'll be glad to go. I have a lot going on. I'm blessed, and with that being said, I can't thank you guys and the community enough, because for without you guys, there is no Papa Pitt. There's no Ron Ramos. I would be here in my backyard, playing with my dogs up. And for that, I am honestly and truly grateful. When I say that, I mean that with complete sincerity. Like I says, I live in a town of 1,800 people. I grew up working in the fields. I picked grapes. I was farm community. That's what I did, man.
Yes,
And
sir.
it was nothing to go out there and pick up a hole and chop cotton. And I did all that stuff. People don't realize that about me. And for a small town boy like me to have been blessed to travel the world because of people like you, I guess I feel like thank you is just such a weak word, man. I wish I could go
Yes,
out and
sir.
give everybody a hug, man. Because it's been an amazing journey, man. It's unreal what has happened in my life just because the American bully. So
Yes,
for
sir.
that, I am honestly, humbly grateful to you guys, man. And that's with all respect, man.
Yes, sir.
That's awesome.
Again, we thank you for your time. Like I said, it's some of the few people, like, after you've been doing it for a little while, and I haven't even been doing it long, but 5 years, you don't even really get excited. But once you said you would come on board, and Ron, I could not. Like I said, I'll send you the screenshot. It's like, Ron, yeah, Papa Pitt. And my buddy Ralph Corner, he participates in the show. You'll see on the show. He's like, oh, that's cool. I'm like, I text back, I need more enthusiasm, fuckers. This is a big deal. Like, but he's just learning in the bullies. But
the thing is, I've known Ron for 10, 12 years. I still get excited. He's just always a super good dude. He's always been like that.
And we appreciate your time. Papa Pitt, we really do.
Thank you guys. Honestly, God, thank you. And for the people out there that have been my fans and followed me, man, thank you so much. And the other thing is, never, and I repeat, never hesitate to come up and talk to me. I'm not that guy that I'm above everybody else, man. I enjoy the fact that you guys get to come up to me, shake my hand. You guys make me feel like I'm worthy of what I'm doing. I'm not the guy that. Oh man, I answer every message, every email, every phone call. I'm not the guy that thinks that I can't do that. No, never. I would never be that guy.
Yes, sir.
I'm so blessed. And if you guys see me out there, all you newbies out there, wherever it may be, never hesitate, man. It's always going to be a good handshake, a smile, and a good conversation.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And again, we thank you. And this is Papa Pitt, Raw Dawggin. Again, we'll be on Thursday night. We thank you for your time. And we're getting ready to hit the stop on the record button. And again, Brian, he's 2-0 on your bets. He owes you damn steak. But we again thank you, Mr. Papa Pitt.
Hey, you guys. Thank you, guys. Follow me on Facebook and Facebook and Instagram. So it's Mr. Papa Pitt on Instagram and OG Ramos on Facebook. And I appreciate you guys following. And I'm there to ask you questions. I just don't post pictures. I answer hundreds of messages a day because I feel obligated to you guys. So don't hesitate to send me a message and follow me. I appreciate you guys.
Oh, yes, sir. And I will be, you'll probably see me in person at the North Carolina show. I almost guarantee it.
Hey, that's awesome. Come on out.
Yes,
I'll barbecue for you, man.
Okay. Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, Ron. Appreciate
Thank you, guys.
Man.
Right.
Hey.
Welcome back, you cocksuckers.
There we go right there. Again. Hey, shout out to Mr. Papa Pitt himself, Ron Ramos. Hey, that's how you fucking bring it back right there, you cocksuckers. No, that right there is Raw and Uncut. No,
that's
but
right.
On a serious note, we do know that was a long interview for a lot of you guys that are tuning in. Some people fucking came back, left, hopped back in. We do appreciate all you guys that tap into our interviews. Man, there was a lot of great knowledge from Papa Pitt, man.
Right.
Like you said, the extreme to clean. Was really breaking it down on how the features have to be introduced to a breed to get them, but he thinks now we're at a good point where you don't have to do that as much anymore.
Right, that's true.
Because you can find a dog with a big head, or you can find a dog with a nice rear. So it was a really good interview, man, and in learning about the national competitions that he's been on multiple registries. Again, shout out to probably one of the best breeders, judges, bullymen, out there really. So. Yeah, and super ethical. Super ethical. Like you said, he could. That's why didn't you think you never saw the try am staffs because they were breeding them. They were there, but they were culling them.
Right.
You know what I mean? They could have got those big tickets at an earlier time frame. So, again, man, shout out to Mr. Ron Ramos, Papa Pitt.
He's
for
a
taking his
legend.
time,
He's a
yeah.
legend in the game, and I'm honored to have him on our show. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, the knowledge that he put out there back from when he first started. You know what I'm saying? He said he had multiple dogs. He said he got the love. He even got emotional in his interview when talking about his dad gave him the love for the dogs.
Oh yeah.
So
that's the way it worked. It was a good interview, man. It was a good thing. Like
Ron,
said,
if you're watching this, I'd like to thank you for your time, sir. I truly appreciate it. It was an honor.
For sure. Again, shout out to all our sponsors. We got Right Way Kennel.
We got Legacy Bullies.
You got Bully PetX, Erwin Berryman. Shout out to them again. Register your dogs with Bully PetX, the only sponsored registry that we got right now for the show.
Hey, and he's the only man that's really supporting us.
Oh yes,
Having
Raw
us
Dawggin will be at has a booth at every show.
Every show he has will be here.
And that is it. That right there, man. Again, we ain't supposed to have merch coming, so again, we'll do again. We shout out to them. MK Kennels, another local person, though I won't say super local, but in Bowling Green, another up and coming kennel. Yeah. She's doing her thing. She's got some pups off a couple of my studs. That she's got some stuff going on, man. Doing really good things.
Hey, we got a local guy, Derek Pendleton, as for sponsorship too.
Oh yes.
Boomer,
so, Louisville's finest bullies. Right. So and you know we always every show. Probably one of our bigger supporters, man, is Kamikaze Bullies with Josh Willoughby. I still want to give him a shout out because they always tune in. They support everything that we got going on.
Oh yes.
So if you guys want to hop in on the sponsorships, there's $100 for 3 months. They get your logos, your kennels put on during the show periodically. If you got your stud videos that you want as commercial, like Cool Breeze from White Way Kennels, or like Netflix's or Jack's Tellers or Sada Babies that you guys have seen come on the show. If you guys got stud videos, promos, or anything, we do $50 per episode or $100 for 3 months. So again, man, you guys tap in with us. We're gonna cut it a little short for tonight because the interview was so long, and a lot of guys had to sit and watch without a lot of interaction.
So next week we'll go on the topic that DJ said we would talk about today, flat chested. So. The flat chesting puppies, so we'll talk about that next week on our show next week, and
we'll have props. We'll have some stuff. Not only will we discuss what about flat puppy chested syndrome, what it can cause. We're going to give you guys some tips, the way to avoid it, what happens if you do have one, some stuff to take care of it, help the puppy come along. So what things to look forward to prior to that. So it's going to be a good show, man. We talked to Stand Game. I talked to RJ. He's been really busy. He's our winner of the $1,000 stack off and the championship belt. He hasn't had time to be on the show, but he will be on the show. We'll be getting him here soon. Again, he's probably the next person, and then we got some special stuff coming up. I'm glad. We're looking forward. We're gonna do something that we've been wanting to do. We're gonna go yard to yard. So if you guys got a kennel, me and Tim Turner are not scared to pull up. We're gonna have a local boy. I won't call him a boy because the motherfucker's a grown man, but a local kennel that has heat. And he's a musician and a businessman, so he's really busy.
So he's like we've had him on here before as a
discovered kennel.
As a discovered kennel, so we'll pull up on him and we'll let you guys see what he has to offer in the bully game.
Oh yeah, for sure. And if you have a kennel that you got a badass yard that you don't mind Raw Dawggin pulling up, we'll set up the show canopy, the setup, cameras will be rolling, we'll get to check out your yard. It's another thing I encourage you guys that are watching to do, for real. And ain't nobody doing what we're doing. No one. Not promoting, not giving knowledge, not anything. Sir. And we appreciate everybody who follows and supports.
That's right.
And Tim, tell them like what you always tell them.
Like I say, man, there's only one Raw Dawggin Raw and Uncut. The rest of you are ain't nothing but imitators. Like I said, so remember, you heard it and you seen it here first.
Yes, sir.
Peace out.
It's raw, it's live, and uncut, Yeah, this is Raw Dawggin with your host DJ Cornett and Tim Turner. Let's go. It's raw, it's live, and yeah, it's uncut. Yeah. From XL to teacups, studs, bitches, pups. Healthcare tips to help the breed grow. Yeah. Stack all bells to help your team grow. Let's get it. Promo available, we got it for the cheap. Tap in. And every Thursday night, yeah, we on your TV. With your host DJ, yeah. You're gonna get the facts. Tim Turner like Ric Flair, about to snap. Yeah, built up designs, nobody do it better. Go Ralph on the corner, getting at him on our channel. Yeah, you don't wanna miss it. We Thursday night live, yeah, 8:15, yeah, Eastern time. Giving everybody they shine, don't pay no mind to sucker shit. Raw Dawggin, baby, yeah, who else you wanna be fucking with?